Microsoft has been trying for so long now to get me to stop using their operating system. They really want me to not use Windows. They're doing everything they possibly can to push me away from Windows. And I keep staying. I keep going, no, but I need it for this. But I need it for this. All my stuff is already installed. It's compatible with so many things. It's so nice. It's great for gaming. It's the main audience that I'm targeting when I develop a game. It is so nice to have a Windows machine as my daily driver. And then I start up my machine and I get a pop-up that's like, hey, you're not done setting up your computer. I'm like, yeah, you've been giving me this pop-up every 2 months for the past 3 years. No kidding, I'm not done. Maybe it's because I don't want to set up your stupid friggin' Big Brother monitoring crap. Maybe I don't want to have an account connected to everything. Maybe I don't want to save everything to the cloud. Maybe I want things to be on my local system because it's my data and I own it. And I don't want to have random internet connection stuff with absolutely everything that I do. I don't want to have a login for my computer that's at my desk. I'm sorry, I'm already getting heated. We're just going to get going on this. The point is, I have started using Linux, and it is so much better than I thought it would be. But that's the very initial impressions. And I'm sure in 2 weeks, you're going to get an episode of me screaming about how impossible it is to do something on Linux or just begging you for help. But right now, I'm going, oh my God, this is so nice. And the thing that's really blowing my mind is getting games started on Linux has not been that hard. You know what? We'll talk about it. I think that when people think about gaming on Linux, they think, no, that's not going to work. They think, oh, maybe you can run Stardew Valley. Maybe you can run like some emulators and I mean, I guess if you're lucky, you can run like Roller Coaster Tycoon because there's like a big community supporting it. Like they've probably propped it up on Linux and like, but like, oh, you want to play Hades or like Bastion? Those are old, but they've got some graphics card requirements, and basically anything that needs a graphics card at all, probably not gonna work. I think that's the thought about Linux. It's like, oh, it's 3D, you're screwed. Oh, it's got any kind of modern hardware, you're screwed. And boy, that's not true. Holy crap. And you guys probably know this. Y'all are probably so tuned into tech that you're going, yeah, dude, you can play games on Linux. You can play modern releases as long as they don't have anti-cheat. And you're pretty much good. There's going to be some hiccups here and there. Maybe you have to type one or two things in the command line for one specific game. Like you're going to run into an issue and it's going to be annoying, sure, but most games are just going to be plug and play. And I would be like, you're crazy. You're talking, you're speaking completely crazy to me. This is nonsense. Linux can't run games. Linux is not made for games, but so much has happened to improve the support of games on Linux that I'm out here going, you're telling me I can just install a Linux operating system, just type one line into the terminal and then hit the number 1 and press enter, and that'll install Steam, and then I can just use Steam the way I would normally use it? Because that's been my experience. I installed freaking Endeavor OS, which is basically Arch Linux. And that is the one that I ended up going for. That's the one that I've installed onto my main system. I'm dual booting. Right now I'm recording this on Windows because some of my audio programs, I'm not even going to try to get them to work on Linux, not this weekend. At some point maybe. But the oh man, Endeavor OS, which is freaking Arch Linux, is supposed to be the most impossible thing to approach in the world ever. And it was maybe the easiest one to get games running on. I installed Endeavor OS. I clicked the correct thing to install NVIDIA drivers because I have an NVIDIA GPU on this computer. And I was like, this is going to mess everything up. NVIDIA GPU is going to mess up absolutely everything because I tested this on a little Intel laptop. And I don't know, these big games, running these big games on an NVIDIA GPU, oh, it's going to be rough. It was fine. It was completely fine. I installed it ever. I typed one line into the terminal. I just wrote "Yay Steam," literally freaking hooray Steam, right? Yay Steam, and then it gives me this huge list of stuff that looks really scary and intimidating. It makes you go, "Oh my God, what have I done? Why have I left the safe little blanket that is Windows with the GUI for everything?" Well, it was fine. I read the last two options. I did a quick search and I went, "Oh, okay. I just need to hit one and hit enter." And if you read the option, it's like install Steam is essentially what it's saying. It's the equivalent of on Windows just clicking like okay, install. Except you're typing the number 1 instead, and there was a lot of text, so it looked a little scary, but also you feel like you're Neo entering the Matrix, which is a nice bonus. So I do all that, and I just open up Steam. And I open up Steam and I go to my library and I go, "You know what? Expedition 33. That's the one that I want to install. The two games I'm playing right now are Hades 2, and I'm trying to get back into Expedition 33, but I'm kind of hard stuck on a fight, and I need to switch my party because I picked a bad time to put Mael back in my party." Okay, so I need to, I need to try out Expedition 33. I need to try out Hades 2, see if they run. Surprise, surprise, they freaking run. They just run. And now, this is the Wild West, right? This is the danger of gaming on Linux. It's always been the Wild West, but it's been the Wild West. There's no water anywhere. There's no towns. There's no way to get help. You're doomed. You're gonna wander in the desert and die of dehydration. But now it's more like there's a bunch of roads that lead you right to what you want. You you just go. You go. Oh, there's a path. Oh, there's a town over here. Oh, there's the answers to all my questions. Or I don't know. It's okay, that makes it sound easier than it is. My point is, it used to be completely no shot on getting games to work. Now there's this nice oasis of like these games all work. And are there gonna be games that don't work? Are there gonna be things where you venture out of the oasis and start going through the desert and fishing for water in the sand? Like you just start like what is it, dowsing? You get a little rod and start walking around and seeing which way the rod goes and just blindly searching for a way to get the game to run. Sure. And then maybe you find some hints and you figure it out and you install the game and you get it to run, right? But god dang, man, I didn't realize there was just this oasis of games. I would look at ProtonDB and it would say, "Oh, gold." And then it would be like, "Might have some minor tweaks." I'm like, "Minor tweaks? That's going to ruin my day," which is probably the case too. But one of the games that I couldn't get to run was Gothic 1, like the release of Gothic 1 on Steam, which I don't care about because I haven't played it before and I just want to play it at some point. Couldn't get it to run. I can get it to run the opening cinematic, and then it would be like there's a permission error or whatever. And then I looked at the page on ProtonDB, and there's people describing how to fix it. It looks very technical, and I don't want to deal with it right now. But there's a bunch of people describing how to fix it. They have the exact same issue as me, and I go, "Oh, okay, I guess it is just one tweak." Okay. And then I thought back, and I went, this is the kind of bug that I have anyway when I try to play an old game on Windows. How many times have I played a game that's like 10, 15, 20 years old on Windows, and I try to launch it, and it's just like, it's not going to work. And then I start looking into how to fix it, and it's like, oh, you need to do registry edits, and you need to do this and that and the other, and you might have to go into compatibility mode, which is going to change where every icon on your desktop is, and then it's, this is weird, and there's all this stuff you have to do. And, okay, fair. That's how it is with really old games. They're dead, they're dying, whatever. And nobody on Windows is really paying attention to them like in the way that the community in Linux I think is. Like ProtonDB is a concerted effort to make games run on Linux. So if you are having a game that is not running on Linux, you know exactly where to go to see what other people are running into. And Linux people tend to give a lot of details about what tech they're using and how it's going wrong. So you can go through and you can really, really figure out. Like if you see somebody who's got the same info as yours, they're like, "Oh, I'm using an NVIDIA card and I'm running this distro." Then you can go, "Oh my God, this is exactly my problem." Or you see something similar enough and you go, "Oh, maybe, okay, I'll play with this." That's the scary part. you gotta be a little willing to be like, oh, okay, let's play with this thing. But here's my pitch for gaming on Linux. If you're going, I don't really want to deal with those little things. This is the cope really, because I haven't had to fight this yet, and I'm gonna have to fight this battle, and we'll see. But my pitch is, you have a community that is deeply motivated to make this stuff work on Linux and is highly skilled and highly technical. And if you put in the work of asking questions correctly and doing some experimentation and going in and saying, hey, this is what I've tried, this is the issue I'm having, here are my logs, there's a good chance that you're getting help. If you do that same process with Windows, you are going to get screwed. That's my pitch. I don't know if that's fully the case, but think of the number of times where you're like, oh my God, I need support on this thing on Windows. I just need to fix this. And then people are like, well, you kind of got to hack the entire operating system and do this, that, and the other. And it's a little bit sketchy, or like it just feels wrong when you're trying to force something to work on Windows, which is not how it used to be. But it feels like Windows is fighting against you when you try to customize Windows. Sorry, I shouldn't say not how it used to be. I don't really know exactly how it used to be, because honestly, my father, when I was a kid, took care of fixing weird things on Windows. So I can't speak for that. But what I can speak for is customization. Oh my God, it is so much easier to customize just the basic stuff that I want to customize on Linux than it is on Windows. It was an immediate, oh my God, even if I don't have all my games running on this, if I can get development running, and if I can get my basic like browsing and just day-to-day normal person computer usage stuff running, I might just go to Linux anyway. I might just make my laptop my daily driver and then just barely use my computer and only use it for games, right? It was such a difference in just minor customizations and searching utilities and stuff, where I was like, okay, I'm one way or another, I'm making Linux a much bigger part of my life. Now, gaming. Let's wrap up the talking about gaming stuff. I'm sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. We'll talk about just general workflow and stuff in the next section of this, in the development section of the podcast, after the little musical interlude. I tried 3 distributions, all right, for Linux. The first one I tried was Bazite. I tried Bazite because it was pitched as gaming gonna be easy, no problem. Here you go, man. And I logged into it and I started it up and I went, I flashed it and all this. Okay, there are some getting started steps that are a little tricky. So I guess you got to find a tutorial on the whole installing Linux to your operating system thing. But honestly, installing Linux as your operating system. But honestly, like installing Windows as your operating system is a little tricky too. But nobody does it anymore because it's pre-installed on every system. Okay, freaking, where was I? I tried Bazite first. That's the first one I installed because I was like, okay, this is made for gaming. This is designed for gaming. I just want to see if with this perfect scenario, ideal use case, like this is exactly what it's designed for. Let's see how smooth games are. Let's see if it's possible for Linux to run the games that I want to run. And bada bing, bada boom, it did. It just worked. Now, this was on a laptop. This is an all AMD laptop. It's like an Idea Pad 1 or something. It's like a $300, just a thing. So I'm using that, and I'm just running like simple 2D games. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even believe it's running this, right? It ran Balatro. I was like, I didn't expect this to run Balatro. Balatro needed a Proton compatibility layer, and it ran. But then this was the end of my Bazite journey. I mean, I've been very quick to turn on these distros. I was using Bazite, blah blah blah. Oh, I also played with remote Steam Play, which I've never done before, and that was mind blowing. I guess I'll talk about that later too. Bazite was cool, and then I went, how do I install Godot on this? Let's install Godot on this. And then I started looking into that, and I was like, okay, I don't know how to install Godot on this, and the documentation for Bazite is not giving me a clear, like, type this into the command line. There's no like there's no GUI for it. I can't just like click on Godot in the series of like they're called flat packs, and basically it's a little store, like a little Microsoft store kind of thing, or like an app store on your phone. There's like a little store for stuff you can download on Linux, and I was going through their little store for stuff you can download on Linux, and what do you know, Godot is not in there. Well, not an up-to-date version of it. I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just nuke this and then put in a different OS. Let's just try another distro. So I was like, all right, what else do I want to try? And I talked to my brother, who's deep into Linux distros, and like deep into it. He's tried so many different distros, and I just talked to him, and then I ended up going, okay, I'm gonna try OpenSUSE. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. OpenSUSE, and I'm gonna try Endeavor OS. Surprisingly, I didn't try Mint. I don't know, the Mint having like a long span between releases thing. I don't like it. I wanted something that's pretty up to date. I feel like there's going to be a lot of updates in terms of gaming technology on Linux, and I want to be there. You know, I would rather be able to go, oh, that update broke things, let me just roll it back by a month, than go, oh, that update broke things, let me roll it back by half a year or whatever the release cycle is on that. Blah, blah, blah. Point I'm making is I try OpenSUSE. Works on my laptop. Cool. Endeavor works on my laptop. Cool. In both of those, I'm able to install Godot. I'm like, okay, awesome. Because when I tried to install Godot on Bazite, because I did eventually figure out a way to install it, I was doing it through the command line, it immediately ran into an issue about downloading .NET. And I'm like, why am I... That doesn't seem right. Like, Godot launched, but it was like, if you create a project, it will crash because you don't have .NET. And I was like, let me just try a different distro. So I tried a different distro, worked immediately. Tried another distro, worked immediately. Steam worked on both of those too. So Endeavor and OpenSUSE. Steam runs, Balatro runs. These are the ones I tried. I tried Balatro, I tried Gothic. One. It did not work on any of the distros that I tried. And I tried Stardew, just to throw it on there. And I grabbed one or two random little games, too. I had like a fishing game that I started up, because of course. And then that worked. And so I'm like, okay, this is going pretty well. And I just went, you know what? Screw it. I'm doing it. I'm going to my desktop. And I know that I have a solid state drive on my desktop that is just games. The only stuff installed on it is games. And then I had a little bit of other data on there, so I moved that around. Turns out I had like 3 folders of stuff. So I moved that around, moved stuff onto a backup drive, moved things into the Windows stuff, and then I went, okay, I'm going to investigate a little bit, make sure that no critical Windows stuff is installed on this drive, and then I'm just going to nuke the drive and install Linux on it. So I'm going to dual boot. I'm going to have my Windows operating system, and I'm going to have my Linux operating system, and they're going to be on the same computer. And boy, what a scary process. But I wanted to do this because I wanted to test the more graphically intensive games on Linux, because that laptop was never going to run Expedition 33. There was no way. It was never going to run so many things, because it's a dumpy little laptop without like a real GPU. And okay, cool, fine. I bought it for the baseline testing. It did the baseline test. Oh, it did manage to run Yakuza 3 remastered, which is crazy. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but it was very funny. Like, as soon as I got Yakuza 3 remastered running on that little laptop on Linux, I was like, I'm a wizard. I don't know. I'm running Yakuza 3 on freaking, I think it was on Endeavor, on Arch Linux, essentially. I was like, I'm a god. I was so proud of myself. Now, I didn't go into combat or anything, and it's probably the most laggy, horrible experience ever, but Yakuza 3 is kind of the most laggy, horrible experience ever anyway. It's got very clunky controls. It's an old game that didn't age that well. Story-wise, it's good. I still haven't finished it. But, I love it. Got that running on that stupid little laptop. That was fun. Okay, so my point is, Linux plays games, man, and not even just the gaming distro, right? Like, I was like, oh, I've got to get a distro that's specifically for gaming. Turns out, no, Turns out kind of easier in a lot of ways to just go deeper on it. Take an hour and figure out what command you have to type. By the way, did not take an hour at all. One Google search instantly. All you have to type is yay Steam. Just a Reddit thread. And then, okay, I'll just yay Steam. And then boom, Steam is installed. And I didn't care because this was like a random laptop that had none of my personal data on it. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Install horrific malware on here? I'll just nuke the system again. Right? It's like, I'm good. So, long story short, it worked. Linux gaming worked. Endeavor was just like, boom, yay Steam, done, installed. Yay Godot, boom, done, installed, running. Just such a nice experience. And then I was like, I'm going to customize some hotkeys. And now we're going to talk about the development environment and the customization and the workflow stuff that I immediately felt when getting into Linux. This may be the weirdest pitch you have ever heard for changing to Linux, because I think the reputation is you're going to run into these giant brick walls. You're going to run into all these problems that you cannot conquer. You're going to run into so much annoying crap on Linux. And you know what? That's probably true. But the first thing I tried to do on Linux, in terms of just making my environment a little bit better, was set a hotkey for the system. Set a system-wide hotkey. That should be really, really easy, right? You would go to the start menu, you would type hotkeys, right? If I go to the start menu in Windows and I type hotkeys, the first thing it gets me is best match, file folder, hotkeys, location, blah, 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 Age of Empires 2. That's not what I want. Documents, hot files, hotkeys in profile, in off world, in profile. And then I look at the in profile. I go, maybe that's a Windows profile. Nope, still Age of Empires. Hotkeys Windows 11. Why would I want to search for hotkeys Windows 11? I'm on Windows 10. Search the web. Hotkeys disable. Hotkeys for snipping tool. None of this is what I want. What if I type shortcuts? Shortcut. Desktop. Shortcut. Shortcut.l. It's a link to my desktop. Shortcuts. See more search results. Game bar shortcuts. Use sticky keys to press one key at a time for keyboard shortcuts. Allow the shortcut key. It's just giving me all of this crap. And I'm like, I just want to change my system shortcuts. I just want to mess with my hotkeys, or even just see all my hotkeys. On Linux, I just typed shortcut, and it just went, oh, here you go. Here's the thing. Here's everything that you want immediately. Here you go. You can modify all your shortcuts. You can do this. You can do that. You can do whatever you want. And here's a list of all the shortcuts that are currently assigned. And you can scroll around and you can find it, and it's categorized, and it's nice, and it's clean. The desktop environment that I'm using that has this is called KDE. If you don't know what a desktop environment is, the shortest of summaries is it is the face that you were looking at while using Linux, right? It's how is your desktop set up? Where is your start menu stuff? Where are your notifications on your screen? It's everything that you think of as your computer. Is your desktop. It's like the notifications that you interact with, the shortcuts that pop up, whatever. It's what you're messing with. Right? So the KDE was the desktop environment that I was using, where I just typed shortcut, and I think it was shortcut. It might have been hotkeys, and it doesn't even matter, because if I go back into Linux, I can just freaking type shortcut or hotkeys, and then I'll find it. I can type one, and maybe it won't get me there, and then I'll type the other, because, oh yeah, of course, it's probably named the other thing. And then I just modified what I wanted. I was getting annoyed when I was using Linux very briefly, because I was like, oh my God, this hotkey, this was later. I was like, oh, this hotkey conflicts with this hotkey that I have in Godot. Like, I want to be able to do, what is it? Is it Control F1? I want to be able to switch between like 2D, 3D, and scripts. by just hitting this hotkey, and I can't do that on this little laptop. And then I was like, oh man, this is annoying because the function keys operate differently. I have to do function lock. Okay, cool. And I was like, oh, it's doing something else. It's changing my workspace. I don't want that, but that's taking priority over the hotkey for this. And then I went, oh my God, I can just open up that old shortcut thing and just nuke the hotkey. It'll take me 10 seconds, not even. It took like 10 seconds, actually, maybe 20. But I had this mindset of like, oh my God, there's this embedded hotkey in the system. How am I going to change this freaking hotkey? Oh my God, right now I'm looking at recommended your AI-powered Copilot. Say goodbye to endless search results. Try it out. You know, if I try that, I'm going to search for hotkeys, and it's going to go, I found something on the web for you. The web says that you can. I'm so mad about this. I just what was I saying before I saw that stupid pop-up in my start menu for the computer that I paid for on the software that I paid for, trying to get me to... Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done with Windows. This is... Recording this podcast and playing music on my computer, like using my MIDI keyboard and doing production stuff, will probably be the only times that I use this boot. I'm probably just going to Linux all the time because, God almighty, I am mad at Windows. I didn't realize how mad I am at it. I'm so mad at it. But anyway, I had this feeling. Okay, this is where I was. There was a hotkey conflict between Godot and my Linux operating system. And I was like, oh, God, there's this baked-in hotkey in the OS, and now I can't use this OS because in Windows, there's no way I'm figuring out how to change that. I was like, this is going to be a whole thing, and it's going to drive me insane, and it's going to take forever if I can even change it at all. And then I just went, oh, wait, I'm on Linux. Oh, yeah, I can change that hotkey. And then I just changed it, and then I used the Godot hotkey, and it worked perfectly. I was, oh my God, my computer works. My computer works the way it's supposed to. I'm able to customize things. I'm able to change stuff. And yes, it takes a little more work. Not that, though. That's just the GUI. I just open up something in the GUI, and I just go, okay, there, boom, 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 fixed. New hotkeys, done. Oh, my God, I can't tell you how freaking good that feels. This is one of the things that I get most angry about, is when the thing that is supposed to be working for me is working against me, and Windows is just working against me, man. I can't. Okay, here's another one. This is gonna be a long episode, brother. Sorry, I'm fiery today. This freaking Windows searching for things online and just being the most buggy piece of crap software ever. Just garbage. I hate it so much. I've done so much to clean up my Windows desktop. I have removed every shortcut from my desktop except for one folder that is very well organized, and I've been trying to operate from my start menu, like from my taskbar, of just like, oh, okay, there's the key things that I use, open those up, boom, done. Like, I'm trying to make my machine very efficient and easy to navigate and clean and just comfortable to use. And God, Windows has gotten in my way so much. And the start menu, if I'm searching for files, I can't find my files. If I'm searching for something on the internet, it's like it tries to use Edge, right? And there's probably a way to change the default. All of these things, there's probably a way to change the default, but it's probably too difficult to get to for it to be like, oh, how do I change that? Boom, changed, right? It's probably some weird, strange, dark pattern nonsense. And dark pattern. You probably know what a dark pattern is. Dark pattern is like they intentionally hide an option from you in order to make you use a different option. It's how every website goes, what do you mean you want to delete your credit card information? You got to go through 12 submenus to do that. Oh, you want to turn off this privacy, or you want to turn on your privacy feature? You're going to have to go through here, and here to turn on that privacy feature. It's that kind of thing. It's Facebook making it impossible to find out how to delete your Facebook account, right? Windows has it feels like it. It feels like it has dark patterns in the OS. The point of the OS is to make my life easier. The point of the OS is to make it I want to be able to navigate my file structure quickly. I want to be able to find what I need. I need to be able to reorganize what I use. I need to be able to change my hotkeys at a moment's notice. Somebody's going to be like, Chris, there's an extremely easy way to change your hotkeys. You just need to do this, and boom, you're done. And it's probably going to be extremely easy. But the fact that if I type shortcuts or hotkeys into the search bar, it does not just show me immediately, here's how you change your shortcuts, here's how you change your hotkey. It instead gives me web search results and the shortcuts folder. The one time that it gives me the folder in my system, by the way, what the heck is that? it'll show me the folder for a specific game when I type shortcuts, but it won't like intuitively. Anyway, I don't know. Technology is allegedly getting smarter, but Jesus Christ, dude. Why is it so stupid? What? What? Are you kidding me? There's this huge movement towards like, oh, technology is getting so much smarter and so much better, and it's going to make everything so much more convenient, and AI is going to do this and that, and the new Windows has this AI assistant, and you can just ask it for stuff, and it'll just do it, man. And you watch a video of somebody trying asking it for stuff, and it just doesn't do it, right? And it doesn't tell you why it can't do it. It's just like, oh, I can't do that. Like okay, I'm sorry. I'm on fire here. As far as game development goes, I was able to just install Godot on Linux. Now, is Unreal Engine gonna install on Linux? I don't know. And honestly, I'm not messing with it, so I don't care. Unity, I don't know, and I don't care. The more specialized that software gets, I think probably the harder it is to install in Godot. In Linux. But I bet they're game dev engines. I bet Unreal and Unity install in Linux. It would make sense, right? Well, but no graphics. I don't know. That's worth looking into, but I haven't looked into it yet, and I'm not doing it in the middle of the episode. Sorry. The experience so far of Linux has been, this kind of sucks. Oh, never mind, it's great. And, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. And then, oops, why did that break? But the oops, why did that break is not happening that often yet. I got to play with it more. Here's where things fell apart. I'll tell you where things fell apart. I installed this whole thing onto my desktop. First off, messing with partitions on your hard drives, messing with installing an entire OS on your desktop when you're trying to preserve another OS and all of your data is one of the scariest things you can do in terms of like computer stuff, because it's like, oh, I might just accidentally delete all my data, or I might just absolutely just nuke I might make something completely useless. I might do that. There's so much stuff where you go, oh God, I hope I clicked the right button. And so I installed OpenSUSE, SUSE, whatever, to Tumbleweed specifically, to my, don't worry about that if you don't know what it is. It's just the name of the distro, a distribution, a version of Linux. A distribution is a version of Linux. I installed OpenSUSE Tumbleweed to my desktop, to my drive, my gaming drive, and I let it just leave the stuff that was already on the drive there. Well, that was probably a mistake. I didn't tell it explicitly to nuke my drive because the guided installer was like, "Hey, don't do that. Just, we'll install what we need to around your stuff." And I went, "Okay, cool. That sounds nice. Let's do that." So I did that, and then when I started my computer back up, I could not find Windows. It just disappeared. It was like, Windows? What do you mean Windows? There was supposed to be a bootloader. There was supposed to be an option between open with Linux, open with Windows. You can just run both. You can run it one or the other. And it's supposed to bring up that option. And it did not bring up that option. It brought up the thing that normally shows you that option, but the only option it showed was booting up with Linux. And I was like, oh no, I can't access Windows. Oh boy. And then through playing with a few settings and being scared to death, somehow, I'm not even sure how I fixed it, actually. I changed one thing that was connected to it. I changed something from like Grub EFI to Grub 2.0 and then back to Grub EFI, and then it started working. Okay, cool. Now it's working. I booted up Windows. Windows worked fine. Cool, whatever. Go back to OpenSUSE. Boot that up. Time to install Steam. Install Steam. Boy, did not work very well on my desktop first go. Tried messing with it a little bit, did not work, and I went, screw this. I kept having issues with my monitors too. I was like, I think the install messed up somehow. I think I messed up the install. I think I picked the wrong option somewhere. Probably should have picked the option with the latest NVIDIA drivers instead of just straight up OpenSUSE, but then it added NVIDIA drivers later, and that probably screwed up the install, because that would explain why some of the games weren't launching, and then also like it tried to preserve the installs of the games from Windows, and it was like, yeah, you can play the game. I was like, oh, really? And I tried to launch it, and it was like, yeah. And then it just didn't launch and just turned off. And then like it just like started launching it and then pretended there were no errors and just stopped launching it, which was fun. And then I uninstalled a game and reinstalled it, and that didn't fix it. So I was like, well, I guess it's not the fact that it's trying to preserve the old installs. I don't know what's going on here, but there's a lot of factors that I don't want to mess with when I can just nuke the drive, actually nuke the drive, and install another distro. So I nuked the drive, installed Endeavor OS, immediately had absolutely no problems. Just launch Expedition 33, good to go. Good, great, done. Launch freaking what else did I launch? I think I've only done Expedition 33 so far with Endeavor, actually. So maybe it'll be a disaster any minute. But Hades 2. Launched Hades 2, the only other one I care about. I guess I should do Balatro as well. Hades 2, also good. I had a tiny like texture loading delay thing on one texture when I opened up oh my god, Expedition 33. Fine, cool. I don't care. I'm at the point where I go, oh, I'm having tiny graphical issues in one niche case, but I get to not use Windows. Okay. Okay, I'm good. Actually, I'm great with that. That's wonderful. So that is, boy, that's my rant. I'm sorry it wasn't all that structured, but I hope you got a lot out of it. I really just feel like I want that level of customization, and I can't stand Windows anymore. They pushed me. They pushed me so far. Then and I finally was like, screw you. I'm out. I'm done. Now, I'm surprised that Endeavor OS ended up being the cleanest way for me to get my games working. And I did, by the way, select from Endeavor OS the NVIDIA drivers option. So I did that differently between OpenSUSE and Endeavor OS. Could easily be what screwed it up. Also, I think I should have nuked my drive when I used OpenSUSE. I think if I had nuked my drive, if I had just gone delete all data on this drive, probably would have worked better. But also just freaking, it was, Endeavor's moving quicker. It's being more responsive. I don't know. I did something wrong with OpenSUSE, I think. I don't know what I did wrong, and at this point I don't care. Because I've got it working. And that feels really nice. Now I'm going to keep using it. I'm going to use it productively, and it's going to be really nice. I can, dude, on Linux with KDE, I can just hit Alt Space, and it brings down this tiny little search bar at the top, and then I can, oh, brother, I can create custom web search things where it searches a specific website or just launches a specific website. I can just slap Alt Space, GG : space, and then whatever I want to search, and it just searches it on Google, because I did GG : and it goes, okay, you want a Google search, you want a web search, done, we're web searching. Dope. I can create a custom one. I can create one for Godot docs, so I can just hit Alt Space GD : whatever, right? I have to create it. It takes a tiny bit of, it takes a little bit of tech knowledge, but there's a nice, helpful little tutorial help page written in technobabble that's not accessible for the random average person who hasn't done a lot of tech stuff, but it's so close to accessible, all you need is somebody to come by and give you a little bit of, hey, no, here, let me set it up for you. All you have to do is do Alt Space and hit GD, and then here, if you want to know, here's how you do it. You want to add more websites? Here's how you add more websites. Just read it. See, what it's trying to tell you is this. This can be taught so easily. It's not that crazy, and I just want more Linux. And I blame PewDiePie. PewDiePie made that video, and I could not stop thinking about Linux ever since he made that video. And eventually I broke. Eventually, this was a YouTube rabbit hole that caused this. I've been radicalized by YouTube. I've been radicalized by YouTube to use Linux and get away from Microsoft and Windows. And honestly, at some point, it's gonna be no more Google. At some point, we're gonna get there. I can't stand Google's ecosystem. They're next. You're next, Google. I'm putting you on notice. I can't stand your crap. I can't stand your shenanigans. You're violating all my boundaries. And as I develop these tech skills, as I get better with Linux, I am gonna just screw you up. I am gonna get out of there. I'm gonna have my own freaking web domain for my email. No more Gmail. No more Gmail. Everything's gonna be at whatever I want it to be at. It's gonna be good. It's going to be nice. It's going to be clean. You're going to stop giving me promotions every time I open my email. I'm going to use Proton probably. I'll probably just pay for Proton. I already don't use Google for searching, which reminds me that I've got to set up my search engine to be my quick search thing on Linux, which is probably going to be weird because it's not like a standard search engine. But also Linux tends to have weird support for niche things. Like it tends to have good support for niche little I'm a picky guy who really wants things to work exactly this way. Turns out there's another picky guy out there who was like, I can't stand this. I need it to work like this. And then you and that guy are standing in the corner of a party being like, doesn't it suck when blah blah blah? And they're like, yeah, it does. And they're like, I have a fix for that. And everybody else is having a good time, and you're just like, oh my god, my operating system is becoming so much more efficient. Yeah, oh my god, I can hit Alt space and type Godot, and it'll search the Godot docs. Well, not Godot, but GD colon space, and then whatever. And then the colon thing is handy. Okay. The point is, it's just immediately I'm like, this is so much more efficient. I'm so freaking excited about it. And this is the pitch that I think I've failed you on so far, and I think everybody has failed me on. And it's a hard pitch to make. What is the benefit of using Linux over Windows? What is the day-to-day benefit? How is it going to be so different? What's the big deal? Why switch to Linux? Here's the whole pitch. Less intrusive crap. And I want you to really think about what that means. That means pop-ups in your own operating system. Less of that. Less of this, I started up my computer and now it's asking me to do something. It means less of this OneDrive nonsense. It means no advertisements in your start menu. It means, here's one that broke me. When I have that lock screen when I start my computer and it just gives me the summaries of the news on the bottom left corner of my computer, I am starting my computer so I can do something. I am not starting my computer so you can tell me the score of a game. I'm not interested. And that's not easy to customize. And every time I complain about something like this on Windows, it turns out there's some little button that you can click to turn it off. It shouldn't be on. It should never be on. It should go, hey, we have a new feature. If you're interested, here you go. Just take your pick. Do you want the new feature, yes or no? And here's how you turn it off if you don't like it. It should not just be, we did something nice for you. Here's this new pop-up on your main screen that you just, it's the first thing I see every time I boot up Windows. And every single time, I'm like, I want to break stuff. I'm relatively calm at this point in my life, generally speaking. So the amount of anger that I have over Windows has just been building up and building up. I lose my mind over stupid things being forced on me. I cannot stand that it is giving me, here's events in your area. Here's the score for the most recent baseball game. Here's a quiz about which Harry Potter character you are. By the way, there's a new Harry Potter show coming out. Ha ha ha. That's not related to this fun little quiz that I put on your desktop. Anyway, do you want to buy this thing? It is blatant. Advertising that's pretending not to be advertising. It is the person being, no, I'm not asking you for anything. I was just wondering if you happen to know where this thing is. And you go, I don't know, man. I'm busy. I feel put upon all the time. So that's one. That's benefit number one. I'm going long today. That's benefit number one. You're not getting all that crap. You're not dealing with that crap. Benefit number two is just ease of use, which sounds stupid. It sounds ridiculous to say that the benefit of using Linux is ease of use, but the benefit is ease of use. The benefit is I can just type a thing and get what I want, right? I can just go, boom, done. Or I can just click a thing and get what I want. You still want to click things? Click things. It's fine. You have a GUI. You have a GUI. You're not out here doing some 01011110000101 binary matrix nonsense. You got a GUI. You're good. You can install whatever. You got good free software. You just install a freaking LibreOffice. It's actually getting pretty good at this point. Like I was using version 7. It's on version like 25 or something. I'm like, oh, that's different. You can just install stuff. You don't have to worry as much about viruses as long as you're installing from the approved distros, the list of stuff from your distro. I don't know what to call it. I have no idea. The list of packages that your distro is like cool with. I don't know. The concern about viruses is much lower. The whole deal is just nice. It's just nice. And you don't have to worry about somebody having weird blackmail on you. Windows doing their whole like, oh, don't worry. We're just not gonna secure your computer anymore if you don't give us money and if you don't upgrade to our new OS. So to upgrade to the new OS, you have to buy a new computer. Duh. You don't have to worry about them going, oh, by the way, this AI companion, this AI helper that we have is just going to look at your screen all the time and pay attention to everything that you're doing. We're not going to sell your data. We would never sell your data. We're Windows. We're the grown-up of the tech industry. We're the good old Windows that you know and love. We would never. Why would we want to? Oh, we just know all your data. We're not going to harvest it. It's just because we've been pushing for you to have online accounts at all times for the past 10 years doesn't mean that we want to do something profitable with those accounts. Just because we're forcing everybody to upgrade to Windows 11 and buy new hardware and all this stuff when they don't really need to, because I don't know why. We don't have any ulterior motives. Like maybe, best case scenario, maybe they're just trying to sell a bunch of hardware. Maybe they just have an agreement with, I don't know. I'm spitballing. These are all my opinions, right? Whatever. But I can't stand it. I'm so angry. And I like Linux. There are going to be things that drive me completely insane, but I would much rather have all of those things than just have to deal with these stupid freaking pop-ups. And the workflow seems like it's going to be smoother. And the control over my system, the ability to see what is going on, the cool little packages that people have made to make things easy. If you're a developer, Linux is probably a really nice thing to explore. Like a developer, not like me. I'm a fake developer. But, I made a game. But like I'm not like I don't have a background. I'm figuring it out, Anyway, that's my rant. Let's wrap this thing up. Thank you for listening. I had a lot of feelings and I needed to get them out. What's your challenge for this week? Here is your challenge for this week. Your challenge is not to install Linux. Don't worry. I know that's a huge ask. Your challenge is not even to mess around with any of that. Who cares? Do your thing. Enjoy your operating system. I'm sorry for my rant. I'm not. I stand by my rant. But here's your challenge. I challenge you to find ways to make your development environment, a bit more efficient, a bit more productive, a bit less frustrating to interact with. That can be your computer desk. That can be whatever. Right? Find little time savers, little things that just take an obstacle out of your way, so you're not screaming every time that you encounter it. Just find those little techniques. For me, that's an entirely new operating system. For you, that might just be a pile of paper that is kind of in front of your keyboard that you haven't messed with and you need to get out of the way. I say that as I'm staring at a pile of paper that's buried under my keyboard. I've been doing that since like high school. I don't know why I do that, but I take notes and then I stick them under my keyboard as though my keyboard is like a little organizer for notes. That's everything I have for you this week. Thank you so much for joining me, for listening to my rant. If you have a lot of feelings like I do, drop by the Discord and have a conversation. A nice, civil conversation, by the way. If you use Windows, I have nothing against that. Use Windows. Maybe you like some of those features. Maybe you tolerate them better than I do. Maybe you're a Mac person. I don't know if games work on Mac yet at all. But, hit me up. Jump in the Discord. Email me at anxiousbuddhagames@gmail.com. I gotta fix that. We gotta get fixing that. This Gmail situation has gotta go. We gotta put an end to that. All right, I'm sorry. I'm on a spree lately with just fixing things that are bothering me and getting stuff out of my way, and just like, not just this too. I had a cleaning spree with my closet that has opened, like, decluttered my mind. I just got rid of a bunch of stuff, and then I was like, oh, I feel better. That's nice. So that's my story. Thank you for joining me. And as always, get out there and make some stuff and have fun with it. And by the way, I'm having fun with this. This rampage, this anger, this is enjoyable. This is a sweet, sweet, joyful experience for me as much as it is rage. I love this, kind of self-righteous, I feel vindicated about this whole thing. So, there you go. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one. And bye-bye.